Brian, Wang, I just don't know what to say. But thank you
Mhm.
for joining me today on our
Yeah.
combined show
Yeah.
uh, to take a look at the earnings call and the earnings report. The
Mhm.
stuff I said this morning, I think you would agree. I think if you'd been on my show this morning, you would have said, yeah, we'll either be at 311 or 360. And
Mhm.
right now, at least based on the overnights, 311 seems much more likely than 360 since we're
Yeah.
down about $16 right now. I'm gonna let you tell me what's going on. Why are we, I mean, not that we haven't seen this story before
Yeah.
where we have a beat,
Yeah.
not by much.
Yeah.
We have no negative news, some positive news, and yet the stock is down. What do you think's going on?
I think somehow some investors may have been expecting some particular statement about the lower price models, something, maybe some guidance. Like they have not given some clear guidance to, you know, how many cars and those kind of things. So the giving firm numbers about what's happening. So that has been absent from the first two calls, right? Because typically you would have something like, we're going to hit 1.8 million, we're going to go to 2 million, we're going to have some growth, we're going to do some stuff. There has been stuff about the autonomy, but they've been very cagey about it. Even though they say, okay, we're going to serve half of the population in the United States, well, that means you have to get into like 20 states, right? You got to get into, or at least 10 big states or something like that. You have to go from Austin to multiple states, and you probably have to spread out more in Texas. But then they say that that won't have material balance sheet impacts until the second half of next year, right? So some of these things are confusing. Like the only way to kind of thread that needle involves only a couple of thousand vehicles and having tests in 10 states or 15 states and some cities. So on the one hand, it's very positive. Like you could spin that positive and say, hey, we're going to be in 15, 20 cities. We're going to, and then lay that all, say, okay, it's going to be, you already said it's going to be in California, it's going to be Texas, it's going to be Arizona, it's going to be Florida, and then we have more. And then, because they basically said that that was kind of going to happen, right? They're looking to get into California, they're going to get into Florida. So basically you're looking at this Sunbelt coverage of all the system, which you could spin that super positive, right? But they, really downplayed it. So,
Did they? You think they
it,
downplayed it? So I'm sitting there listening and I'm going, okay, the stock is trading at exactly 000 when they start the call. I mean, it wasn't up, it wasn't down. Now it was up for the day, but it
yeah,
wasn't up in the overnights. It was just right at zero. So then almost the first thing out of their mouth, practically the first thing out of their mouth is, no, we're not just going to go to LA, to San Francisco, LA, and San Diego in the first half of this year. We're going
yeah,
to roll this to half the population in the United States
right. By the end of this year, right,
by the end of this year. By the end,
right.
that was never, ever, ever in any statement they've made before. This was a very positive statement. He follows that up by saying, we're like this close. We're going to be within the month in some countries in Europe with
Yeah.
FS. Within probably a few months after that, looks like we'll have all of Europe. We're getting close with China, close with Australia. I mean,
Yeah.
these are all extremely positive comments of things that are in the works that are close to happening, and the stock goes ding, 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 ding.
I know.
I'm like, what did
I
he
know.
say? What did he
I
say?
right. Right. So I guess it also goes to like the ending of the call where he talked about, they have a dancing talking cat. Until you see the thing dancing and talking, you think it's just a cat.
Right,
Right.
right,
So he said this dancing talking cat is FSD and Robotaxi are unsupervised are going to be in half the states in the United States, right?
yeah,
By the end of this year,
right,
right? With the own network cautiously, all that kind of stuff. But even if you only had 10, 20, 10 cars for every million people, you're looking at 1,600 cars. You have passed Waymo at that point,
right,
right? Even you're doing tests and stuff like
right,
that.
right.
That is huge. Like how can you, and even then, you're not really servicing all those people, but you're I'm just saying you dip your toe, step foot into the city and the state. Like if I you can't say that I'm serving all of California, all of Texas, 30 some million people by 10 cars being in Austin,
No,
right? That
no,
doesn't count. I
no.
can say you can kind of stretch it and say your service area has to have the population,
Yeah,
right? Like even if I'm not really servicing, I'm doing kind of invite things until like in 2 weeks they expand to all of Metro Austin, right? And you get 1 million people.
talking.
I haven't
Yeah,
I haven't got that service to the level that they've said,
yeah,
right?
and that was another thing. They said they're going to expand to the entire. I mean, to 10 times. Wasn't it
Yeah,
10x
right.
the current space, or maybe it was the beginning space. I'm not sure which, but they're going
Yeah,
to be bigger than the Waymo area.
right.
I read some reports today that they have 35 cars out, but they haven't confirmed that. That was from, but it was from a one of the like Goldman Sachs or somebody. That was
Right.
saying that there's 35 cars running right now. Well, if they're going to go 10x, like to
Yeah.
your point, I think they're going to have a couple hundred, 300 cars, don't you think?
Right. That seems like the case. Especially if you think we're going off invite,
Right,
right? To doing that, bare minimum with wait time, you're looking at 300. And if you're doing it to these large service areas without invite, where it's generally available, then yeah, you need to have like I would say 300 cars for Austin.
right,
That's 1 million people. 150 times 300. You're looking at, well, let's just 100 times 300. You're looking at 30,000 cars.
right,
That maybe like 20 times bigger than Waymo, which is
right,
just like huge. And by my calculation, if you're doing that and they're doing, let's say even 20,000 miles per year, right? 20,000 miles per year times
oh,
30,000 cars, looking at, 600 million miles per year run rate, $1 per mile, 600 million bucks. That's affecting your balance sheet. That's affecting the numbers. That goes to the bottom line. It's like a couple hundred million bucks. And it's in the high growth category. Like, not all net income things are the same thing. It's like if I'm making $1 in AWS at, Amazon Web Services at 80% margin,
right,
that's 5 times more or 10 times more than something where I got 10% margin.
right.
So, yeah,
Yeah, and he reconfirmed his 25 cent, estimate on the Cybercab, the eventual cost per mile. He confirmed for the first time I've ever heard him say it. I think he said that the existing cars will be around 50 cents a mile. So
right,
those are two good things that Gary Black can put into a spreadsheet.
right, right.
Because I think that 50 cents a mile is high
Yeah,
for the existing vehicles because the big difference is there's a little bit more expense in terms of the cost to charge them, but the big
yeah,
thing would be the cost of depreciation, but not that much, not double.
yeah.
But
And then going to the point of like, okay, if we're anywhere close to 150 million people, let's just say it's because half the population of the United States is like 170 million people.
right,
So let's say it's 100 million.
okay, 100,
They're
yeah.
only got 100 million,
It's
right?
easier to multiply.
Right. It's got 100 more cities, right? It's got 100 more areas. I mean, they got to do LA. I got to do San Francisco. So 10 million in LA, 7 million.
San Jose, San
Yeah.
Diego. I mean, those are the major, yeah,
Right, right. And then I got to expand out into Texas. I got to do Florida. It's like from now for the next 6 months, actually 5 months,
right,
right?
right,
In 2 weeks, I expand Austin. I got to then expand again, new cities, new states. Next month, August, September the latest, I'm going into California. I'm going to Arizona, right? And then go to Florida, right? So then every month, I'm opening up new states. Maybe like 2 or 3 states every month from now to the end of the year. And that is insanely bullish as that rolls out, right?
yeah. That's
And
that's what I was thinking. That's
yeah,
what I'm just sitting here going, okay. I was thinking, I mean, really going into the call, I'm expecting him to reiterate Los Angeles, San Francisco. That's it for
Phoenix,
this year,
yeah, yeah,
and maybe we'll be looking at your 1,500 cars over those, Austin, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. But no, 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 it's multiples of that, and yet the stock goes down. Okay, so what else? What else did he say about Robotaxi that you thought was useful? Was there anything else about the Robotaxi plan that was useful?
Um, he did also talk about the fact that they would get the improved FSD into all cars, the Robotaxi grade FSD
Right,
into all cars
right,
um, soon. He didn't give it a time as to when,
right.
but that would also be huge because, you know, that's where the bulk of the money is coming. Like they said the take rate was up 25% with version 12
Right.
from whatever it was before. So, that means that with the improved thing, like, we could see a doubling of take rate by having a really, really good, I don't need to really watch the road, because if I, within a month or two, we're supposed to remove the safety monitor passenger from the robotaxi. And if that quality of FSD is in all vehicles, even if you can't Airbnb your car yet,
Right.
right?
Right.
The fact that it's that good, and people try it and realize, holy crap, it's that good, right? Then they would buy that just for the convenience of it.
Yeah,
So,
and he said unsupervised would be by the end of the year also, but only in certain geographies. I'm only guessing that the geographies would be coincidental with where robotaxi is available. So if they've already
yeah,
scanned it, they've run their little cars around with radar and lidar on it, and everything. They've kind of done their thing in that city, and they're ready to do robotaxi there. Yeah, robotaxi. Then you could also be unsupervised in that same area. So once again, we may be talking about half the population, as you point out, most of the southern states in California. And that would, I think, I keep saying that's going to increase car sales. Um,
right,
and if it doesn't increase car sales, to your point, it's going to increase FSD uptake on existing cars, which
right.
is almost as valuable as selling a car.
Well, yeah, yeah. You get as much profit of the car,
Right,
from a pure FSD sale,
right,
and you're getting the profit of a car spread over 5 years with a subscription, right? So those are all insanely huge things. So um, I'm guessing it's because they're so heads down on the work of just like, let's make this thing work. Like they said, they didn't plan out the um, adding the cars into the network.
yeah,
They said they hadn't thought deeply about that, which is to
right,
me like, seriously, it's not like you only have like one person doing this. You got like hundreds of people, like someone on their spare time could work out the rollout plan and then bring it and be ready. So it hadn't been reviewed by Elon, but someone has to have the plan. It's just like insanely, this thing where I'm gonna get to 10x the company because I'm going to roll it out and I'm going to do all this stuff. And it's kind of like just the level of effort you put into a master plan, you would put
right,
that into your big, we're going to autonomy, right? It's like, I haven't worked out my new model car because, we're focused on this other thing. It's
right.
like your car company, but now you're saying you're an autonomy company, then you would have that plan worked out. To me, I think they have, and I just don't want to talk about it.
Right, right.
And so then he gave the white lie
Yeah.
that they haven't thought it out. They
Or
have,
maybe he hasn't thought about it.
or he hasn't done it lately because he's working on some other stuff, right? So within the company, it's worked out to the nth detail. Like there are people who have done that. Like that was, you know,
Let's see if we can summarize Robotaxi. See if I missed anything here. All right. In the next 2 weeks, we're going to 10x Austin.
right,
That means a lot more cars. Okay. In the next 2 months, we're going to move on to some other city or state.
right, multiple states.
Sometime in that 2 months, it sounds like we're gonna get rid of the safety rider. By the way, they called it a safety rider, which is what
Yeah,
I've called it. Nobody else, only me,
yeah,
but they called it a safety rider. Anyway, so we get sometime in that same 2 months, it sounds like we get rid of the safety rider. Sometime in this quarter, maybe we get oh no, he definitely said it. I think in this quarter we get the nag is gonna be reduced. Okay.
yeah.
And they're going to start nagging. The thing they're going to start nagging is existing owners that have FSD. They're going to start nagging them to use it.
Mhm.
And they're going to
Yeah,
start nagging people that don't own it to try it out for free. They're going to
right.
nag them. They're not going to just mention it once in a while. They're going to
Yeah.
start encouraging people to give it a try because what did he say? A huge percentage have never even tried, 50% have
50%.
tried it once.
Right.
50% have never tried it one time, which is
Right.
great. All right. Is it so far? I've got it right up to the 2
Yep.
months. All right.
Yeah.
So then in the fourth quarter, we expanded to half the country,
Hmm.
whatever that means. And they
Yeah.
named Arizona, Nevada, Florida,
Florida,
California.
Texas. Yeah.
Those are the named places. And by the way, if you take those 4 states, just the 4 states, Florida, Texas, California, that's 3.
Yeah.
You take those 3 states, you've probably got half the country.
You
I
got
don't
100 million. You don't have 100, but you have one third. One
about
third.
1/3. Okay. So I mean, you're right there. You've got most of the biggest cities in the country are in that group that you just said, besides Chicago and New York, pretty much
Yeah.
all the rest. Okay, and you might get unsupervised by the end of the year in those same geographies. Did I miss anything?
Um, I think those are the main points.
Those are
Yeah.
the main Robotaxi points. I
Right.
would have
Right.
thought this. I would have thought
Well,
this.
the other stuff where they also talked about, mentioning offhand that Tesla bot will be part of the robotaxi operations, cleaning and
Yeah.
charging and doing stuff, right? So they said offhand that that would start happening, and then tying it into, the 1 million per year by 2030 of that. So yeah, and there is, operational other changes that will occur with that, but in
So
terms of rollout is that. And then by end of next year, it's going to be um, hugely impactful, very compelling economics, the,
yeah, yeah.
potential multiple stuff happening.
Hitting the financials, being
Right.
a measurable part of the financials. Okay, so I just can't figure it out. Maybe somebody can let us know in the comments below what wasn't announced with regard to Robotaxi that people were hoping would be announced. All right, number 2 was Model Q. So Model 2 was what everybody else was waiting. Not everybody else. I certainly wasn't, but but Model Q was the other thing that people were like, "Oh yeah, we got what's happening with Model Q." Limited information, but nothing negative. What did you hear on Model Q?
Um, it's going to be the lower price models, not necessarily Model Q, lower price models will be here for Q4, right? In volume,
In volume,
in volume, right?
ramped.
So that aligns with what we're expecting there. Um, so that still goes to September, October to have the big announcement reveal. Like you can't really go past October and have serious production happening. August, we're currently going to have the Model Y XL in China, and I would think that by September you'd have that XL and the three long range, 3 Plus in Europe and in the United States, certainly the United States. That it would be the YL would be a big seller in the United States, and it's also adjusting their fleet to be more um, robotaxi friendly. That they want to convert their fleet to an autonomous friendly fleet, and having a fully usable 3 rows for the Y with two
Right.
in there, but you can get, because it's 2 captain seats in the second row, you can easily get to the third row. You don't have to like climb over something or do something weird,
Push the chair forward or
put your way forward or something like that. Yeah. So um, loading and unloading a vehicle like that, like you'd want the seating configuration to be easy for a taxi passenger type service.
Okay, so I don't know what the people on the street were thinking. I don't know what the people, the Wall Street folks were thinking. I don't know what anybody else was thinking, but pretty much everybody that I follow thought that because the $7,500 goes away October 1st, that they would want to absolutely maximize and optimize Model Y, Model 3 manufacturing in both factories, max those out between now and the end of September to take advantage of the $7,500 deal, that they would be able to sell everything they can get their hands on during that period without going into Model Q, and that therefore they would move. They intended, he said, they fully had planned to do Model Q in the third quarter until the big, beautiful bill came along and messed up their plan. And now they're doing it in the fourth quarter. which makes, I mean, as a manufacturer, as a product guy, it makes total sense. I can't believe that that wouldn't be what everybody would think would be the wisest way to manage this flip that's going to take place in
Mhm.
fourth quarter.
So then, because they were ready for Q3, then you would think, okay, October 1st, or last week of September we released, you start ordering and we start delivering October 1st,
Right.
that it would be right then. Because it's not like, the fact you announced it, if they're gonna wait, they're gonna wait. It's not like, okay, it's gonna happen October 1st. It's kind of like it's there. So I don't think there's any osborning by that. But then really early October, you would have that new vehicle out there. And yeah.
Right. And I think if I was running it, I would let them I would let the Model Q have about a month of its own little star period.
Mhm.
Then in the second month of quarter four, I would announce the unsupervised, and I would have my first ad.
Mhm.
I would have my
Right.
first national football television ad ever, and it
Mhm.
would be Elon snoozing in the back seat of the car on his way
Mhm.
from Los Angeles to New York.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, it would change. It'd be the world beater. Just put it on. Just put it
Mhm.
on in California. It's the 5 o'clock game or whatever. Put it in halftime or after sometime in a football game. That's all you have to do. He's
Yeah.
asleep in the back. He's by himself. There's nobody else
Yeah.
in the car, and he's going from coast to coast. That then I think would stimulate sales to where they would never have to worry again about not being able to sell out every car they can make.
Yeah. I think that having full autonomy realized and demonstrated, you know, hands-free, no attention needed, that is, that's the Holy Grail.
So we're going to have people getting in and out of those vehicles all between now and the end of the year anyway. We're going to get thousands and thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of people getting into vehicles around the country that are going to be hands-free. There's not going to be anybody in the driver's seat. So
Mhm.
it would seem like that also has a penetrating aspect, like an advertisement that says, well, this is possible. Maybe you'd like to have one of these for your home. Maybe you'd like to
Mhm.
go ahead and try it on your car.
Yeah.
So shouldn't that also be stimulating potential sales of vehicles in the fourth quarter?
You think it should, but yeah. So certainly, we have both said that when you get that stuff, the Robotaxi FSD working, that it stimulates sales. Not only just from the people who want to buy it, but from the businesses that want to be part of a full Robotaxi network. That you have to buy the vehicles from Tesla to run that network
Right.
next year, right? Because they said they can open it up. So if you say, okay, that's going to be making $40,000 a year or 30, 40,000. Well, basically like if you do 60,000 miles as the early version, so it's 50 cents and you're doing a buck, then you're getting 50 cents of profit
Perfect.
from
Yeah.
that. So then if I do 6,000 miles, that's $30,000 per year, right? $30,000 per year for something that I get my payback on the vehicle. If I buy a used one, it get payback in 12 months. If I buy a new one at $40,000, it could take 15 months or something like that. So that kind of payback, that kind of profitability, like if I own, you know, 10 of them, you're making $300,000 a year. It's just like a huge financial signal, which is what Herbert talked about. That at some point, people will be offering him $100,000, $150,000 for his used car, for his used Tesla, right? So
I thought
that's
I thought you and I were talking about that 2 years ago. I thought
yeah,
I
yeah,
thought it was in the book, the Elon Musk mission. I thought
yeah, yeah.
we
Yeah.
I thought that's
We
why
all agree on
I,
it. Yeah. I just also, more recently stated by him,
I
but
say more
like,
recently stated.
but we have said that too, and we agree that economic forcing function, that when you can make that much money from it, it becomes, hugely valuable. It's also like the Airbnb places that are making double the rent, their value goes up. Like if I can go to Hawaii and this thing Airbnbs all the time, almost no vacancy, and I'm doing it at, $200 a day, that thing's the economics of that property changes.
Oh, absolutely. I was Airbnb-ing my house in West LA for $5,000 a month. I mean, that's a pretty good deal.
Right.
So yeah, that worked out really well. Actually, I now rent it for almost that much, but that's another story. Okay, so let's get to the next part of the story then is the Model Q. So the Model Q. Oh, so if you take that Model Q though, part of the Model Q story is what we just said at the very end, and quite frankly, the price of the stock since then, what's going on? What's going on with my problem? What's going? Oh, here we go. So we're still only $15 down now. We were down more. So at the very end, he talked about, well, we could have a rough quarter 4 and rough quarter 1 and rough quarter 2. Now, I didn't know quite how to interpret that. Rough could mean we might have to give more incentives and kinds, and deals in order to move vehicles in those 3 quarters, or he could have meant sales could be difficult in those 3 quarters. But once again, he's only talking about the US. He's not talking about, China,
China, Europe,
or
whatever,
all the rest of
rest of
the
the world.
export places. So he's only talking about the US. So we've given a couple of reasons why maybe it wouldn't be that rough in the first and second quarter. And then you've got the Model X. This is the argument I've been having with Gary. Again, Gary Black and I've had a number of disagreements, but this is another one. If the Model Q is going to be that big, if it's that important, well, wouldn't that fill in all the blanks for whatever Model Ys and 3s we're not going to sell?
Yeah, it seemed like that was the whole point of that you can produce 3 million cars and your factories can do that, especially you get more shifts on there, even 3.5 million. And it's not just I'm not selling, the current numbers that you're introducing new models to get, hugely bigger TAM, which is I think mainly a China thing. That if I get the low price vehicle that doubles, triples the TAM in China,
Yeah.
I go from selling 600,000 cars in China, exporting
Oh, yeah.
500,000. And then I go to selling, 1 million, 1 to 1.5 million vehicles per year in China, plus my exports. And actually have more exports because also those
Right.
other
Right.
places would be. So the potential is whatever the maximum production, true maximum production of the Shanghai factory is, which I believe is more like, 1.52 million, right? Then that alone moves up all production on everything for the whole company.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So he also another thing they said was that India is did he say third or fourth largest car uh car sales in the world? I didn't know this.
Mhm.
I guess I guess they must be counting Europe as one place. So Japan, so United States, China be number one. United States.
I think they would be counting Europe as a separate place. You're saying Germany, so
Oh,
Germany by itself, France by itself, and
I
then
see.
Japan.
I
So I
see.
think so it'd be China, US, I think Japan's
Japan. Yeah.
third, and then India fourth.
India.
And then India could be ahead of Japan, but I think the per car price, they're
Yeah.
selling cheaper cars in India in general,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
So that would be,
So, and we've entered India. So there's another, I don't know, was it you that had somebody in our group had a kind of an estimate of what they thought first year sales might be?
okay.
I can't remember what
Um,
it was. I want to say it was like 40,000.
yeah, that sounds about like the right number.
Yeah, about
But
40,000.
that'd be a full year, not for,
Oh, yeah.
like,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
10,000 per quarter.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right, right. All right. So I don't think that hurt the market. I don't think that's what drove the market down. That was too late in the call, and it's
Yeah.
actually gone back up since then. So, and by the way, let's talk about the stock for just a second again. We've seen this story also before. Just because it's down now doesn't
Mhm.
even mean it'll be down tomorrow,
Right.
because
Right.
we got a different set of players coming into the game tomorrow morning. And even if it's down tomorrow, it doesn't mean it'll be down on Friday.
Right.
Because we've
Right.
seen it where it takes 3 days for everybody to kind of go, oh, now I see. So,
Right.
so I'm still looking for the reasons. But by the way, Brian and I did not talk to anybody else. We didn't watch anybody else's shows. So we really don't know what other people are saying. So at this point, this is
Mhm.
just the two of us
Yeah.
spitballing about what took place. All right. So energy. Um,
Mhm.
there was the conversation got into some of the negatives with regard to tariffs and with regard to the cost of raw materials, X tariffs, and also some of the incentives in the solar, where some of the solar farms maybe not get built.
Mhm.
What did you think about their answers there?
So they said it was a very diversified customer base, and the customers had recognized that megapacks can improve the grid and improve the efficiency and operations of existing power plants. So basically, you can run like a natural gas power plant constantly or nearly constantly, and then store that power into the megapacks, and everything's better that way, getting more utility and more value out of these existing assets.
Doubling,
So, yeah,
doubling.
potentially doubling. Yeah, right. So that is something that they said that um, has gotten out to those big business utility customers. So they recognize that this is the thing,
Mhm.
right? And then also, I don't think they mentioned that much, but it's the mega packs are becoming essential for the operation of AI data centers. So AI data centers being built all over the place. You need to have mega packs there to handle the load variation and do a bunch of other things that are highly demanding of the AI data center. The AI data centers, people are spending billions, tens of billions of dollars on these things. So a lot of mega packs for that is something that clearly xAI is leveraging and Tesla's leveraging for their world-leading data centers. So anyone who's going to copy that will need to then use megapacks as a solution. So it seems like the business case, the value case for megapacks is solid, irregardless of what's happening. And they also said that when people said that the solar credits were going away, they said that the market was not, you know, canceling those projects. It's like, okay, we're still committed to this. The economics still work. It would be nice to have
Right,
those credits, but I don't need that to greenlight this project.
right.
Um,
In
so
fact,
it just,
Elon came out with some statements on X today regarding all of that, talking and reminding everybody that solar can be ready to go from the beginning of the plan to execution in like 18 months,
right.
which is 4x less than what it takes for any other kind of system to go in. Now, of course,
Yeah.
when Elon does stuff, sometimes it happens faster. So somehow he's finding these gas turbine resources all over the world. We talked about this last night. Was that last night, 2 nights ago? Anyway, at length about how quickly Elon is finding these resources that nobody even knows exists. But it also turns out that Memphis has bought, I want to say, over $30 million worth, or is it more than that? They've bought a lot of megapacks. The
Mhm.
Colossus, they have bought a bunch. I saw some stats on that earlier today. So they're a good customer to Tesla right now.
Right. And I also saw like in the picture, I think in the deck, the quarterly earnings deck of the largest supercharging area, like 168 stalls or something like that, with a lot of solar over the stalls and then solar beside it. So generating more power, like maybe another megawatt. And they had at least four megapacks in with that charging area. And I don't think that those superchargers had a lot of truck charging there as
Oh,
well. So they'll sell a lot more megapacks. Like they make um, 50,000 charging areas and then have that's for like posts. And then they have, say, 1,000 of those for an entire zone, like 50 charging in one zone. Then having 4 to 8 megapacks for each one of those, that's like 4,000 to 8,000 megapacks that they'd be selling from their own usage from a massive supercharging, mega charging, truck charging area. So their need for that for their own networks of charging of AI data centers, they're a huge customer for themselves for that others will have to copy.
And my only disappointment of the entire thing was on Optimus. So I had said, "Hey, Elon, give us your numbers again because you've given us a couple of different sets of numbers." So now it seems like Optimus is slipping to maybe no serious production this year, maybe not even that 1,000,
Hmm.
because they've got the version 3, which he says is perfect. He he
Hmm.
he said it was amazing, and I mean I forget all the adjectives
Superlative.
to
Yeah.
describe it, the superlatives. But maybe because the 3 is so much better than the 2, they will not start putting the line together until fourth quarter,
Hmm.
and then they'll start some kind of minimum production. So it doesn't sound like we're going to get that 1,000 or 5,000 this year,
Hmm.
which may put everything off a quarter. I mean, hey, what the heck? In
Yeah.
the in 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 the scope of things, a difference of a quarter doesn't make any difference. But he also said he's looking at only 1 million units 5 years from now. And on most of my charts and your charts, I think we've been thinking by then it would be at least maybe 10 million or more.
Yeah. But the thing is, when you're 10xing every year, the anticipation to do that, then having that 1 year delay means
Right.
you're 10x smaller. That exponential curve, if you have a delay, then it's had a big impact. The other thing was that they said that the AI5 chip, which would be used
Right.
for inference for um, vehicles as well as for Optimus, that was also volume delayed into next year as well. Like we
Yeah.
were expecting that this year,
Yeah.
right? In the second half of this year, and now they're saying it's going to be next year that they would have volume production AI5. So that, but they also sound like they may have improved it because they talked about it being, a exceptional design and being far better. So it sounded like and also they couldn't export it, that we would be
Right. Right.
without nerfing it.
Well, no,
So
actually, I think he was talking about AI4. I think he was
no, I
saying
think it was talking
AI.
AI5. He was talking
Oh,
AI5.
was he? Okay. I'll
Yeah,
have to
I'm
look
pretty sure it
back
was
on
AI5.
that. Okay.
Yeah, but we'll go back and listen to it again. But it's that AI5 would be needed for, my understanding, would be needed for Tesla bot, for Optimus. That if you don't have AI5, then but they could you can have serial production, you can have the volume for a few thousand, without anything. That's not like for high volume chip production, it's like am I making 2 million or 3 million for all my cars and then having a few thousand for some bots. Like they can do test production of chips or like a pre-production runs of it to get everything they need for their bots. Or they can just go with, I don't know, two AI4 chips or something like that until they get the thing, properly working.
All right. So now we're going to go technical. We're going to go super technical, and I'm just going to pretend like I understand what you're telling me. So he also said that he's got AI6 already being worked on,
Yeah.
and also Dojo 3 being worked on, but that this was going to be a chip.
Converged chip. Yeah, converged chip. That they would both work together and that they said that they would have for the training. So they would have like, two chips that would go into each car and each bot. And then they would have like 512. So basically the equivalent of a wafer that would be for training. So they would have that go into the AI data centers. And they said they'd have volume production of Dojo 2 at 100,000 H100 equivalents, which would be, if it was as good as the B200, that would be 20,000 of those.
Okay.
But probably the Dojo 2 is only twice as good as an H100. Even if it's only just as good, as long as it's cheaper, 5 times cheaper,
Right.
then it's still economically viable, particularly if it's tuned to their resources. So then that would mean on the order of, you know, 50,000 to 100,000 Dojo 2 chips next year. That'd be the volume production that they would have. And then AI6 and Dojo 3, which would be probably 2028 timeframe. Then that would be a unified chip with, that they would do all these capabilities. But that's way far away. And they've made design changes along the way. So, this stuff is progressing so fast, they can't have any clue how they're going to lock the design later on. But that's their general thinking now.
Wow. Okay. All
Yeah,
right. I
yeah,
think
yeah,
I get it.
yeah. And then the other thing was, not related to the Tesla call, but xAI last night announced that they have 550,000 B200 chips installed and activated in the next few weeks,
Right.
which is the equivalent of just shy of 3 million H100s. That 550,000 B200, B300s is the equivalent of 3 million, which is 30 times the compute of the 100,000 H100s used to train Grok 3, released in February, and over 7 times as much, almost 8 times as much as the compute used of 400,000 H100 equivalents used for Grok 4, released only 2 weeks ago. So then that will be a Grok 5, using that increased level of compute. It also means a few other things. It means they have a gigawatt of power installed in Memphis 2, or made available from the grid, because you need a gigawatt of power to run 550,000 B200, just shy of that, 800, 900 megawatts, whatever, about a gigawatt, which is about double the power that they had before at about 500 megawatts in Memphis 1. And the other thing would be that like a month ago, he said that they had 130,000 B200 installed in Memphis 2. So now they have 400,000 more, or 420,000 more in less, a few weeks later, over elapsed time, like 6 weeks, 2 months. That means they're installing chips at a rate of 300,000 per month, which is 10 times faster than what um, Jensen Huang called superhuman 6 months ago,
Right.
right? So to me, that means that they've gotten some kind of like Tesla um, mini factory thing where they get shipped in these cabinets the size of refrigerators or freezers
Mhm.
coming in that have all the racks of these things, and then or these large heavy servers, and then put them into the racks. Anyway, they have something where the stuff is coming in off of trucks, and then they're assembling them and getting all of the wiring, where I got to like wire everything into the connecting each rack to each rack, because they need to be all communicating together,
Right. Right.
right? So all this wiring and production, they have some kind of like mass production process to get this all completely wired up. It's like building a whole gigafactory in near real time,
Right.
like in a month. Like the
Right.
parts are coming in, and then it's like magic. Everything's being put together, connected, and stuff that takes other people, 2 years, they're doing in 2 months, right?
Right.
So this is insanely fast, how fast they're doing it. So, and it has to be that they've made a AI construction factory within the AI data center. It's like it's massive amount of like staging to get these things all connected. So they have machines that build the machines that put the stuff together. So they it's not just people doing things smarter than processes. They've made special equipment, testing equipment, assembly equipment, other things to put this all together. And it's got 10 times faster from 6 months ago to now. So the being able to just install it faster um, is something that I don't think other people can. Not like I can just hire the person. It's like, and then we built the factory. It's like, okay,
Right.
I know they did that, but it's like actually doing it, and we had like 5,000, 10,000 people that did that, people who are experienced doing stuff in automotive, some people from SpaceX, and it's all hooked together. So it's not like I can just hire some key people to do it. It's like, okay, I hired the person who did work on the Texas Gigafactory, but it was like an army of 10,000 people
Right.
directed into doing this thing. Yeah.
All right. So then we had one of the questions on the call, which I had to laugh at a little bit, and yet I thought in some ways it was important. And they said, well, gosh, if you're going to have this fleet of cars, how are you going to pay for them? Is it going to come off the balance sheet? Are you going to borrow? What are you going to do? And I'm thinking to myself, okay, AJ just put out this note earlier today. He said, look, they got 37 billion
$1 billion of
in the
cash.
bank,
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
bank,
yeah,
and they have no borrowing to
yeah,
speak of. And they have, I don't know, Elon has this kind of unlimited ability to raise capital if he decides to. So the answer was, well, we'll use it off the balance sheet, we'll just, it'll be like the same as inventory. I mean, we
yeah,
have an adjustment of 10,000 or 20,000 in inventory in any given month. So we
yeah,
can put 20,000 cars out there.
yeah,
And then if we feel like it, once it's got a revenue stream, we could always go borrow against the revenue stream. And I'm like, yeah, um,
right.
I don't think they'll be borrowing much. So that was interesting. Oh, I know what we need to talk about is the ability to purchase shares of 𝐑𝐚𝐬𝐴I by Tesla.
Hmm.
I thought that was kind of a neat twist.
Hmm.
So Elon says that, he'd take it to the board. Well,
Hmm.
he just took it to the board. He just said,
Hmm.
"You guys want to buy shares?
Hmm.
Put
Yeah.
together the what do you call it?
The shareholder motion or
The
whatever.
motion. The motion. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put together your own motion, bring it to the meeting."
I think that's putting up the bat signal for Tesla Boomer Mama
Yeah.
to do that work because the community needs to depend on her to get those shareholder motions going. I think there's a few other people who get involved, but she ended up leading it.
Yeah.
I hate to dump it on her, but like she's so good at it. So
I know. She probably likes the glory.
yeah, yeah,
So that was pretty interesting. So Tesla Boomer Mama, if you're watching this particular version, I think 5 billion is kind of that's kind of a chicken. Why don't we go
yeah.
for more than 5 billion? Anyway, and by the
If
way,
we have 40 billion cash, you do 20 billion. I think it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
half.
and the other thing is make sure it's a good deal. All right, I think it should be valued at what it would have been valued at 12 months ago, not what it's valued at now. Anyway, I'm sure you'll do it. He also talked about his comp package.
Mhm. Yes. Yeah. So
He
he's
says, "I
expecting something
hope."
to happen at the annual meeting. Yes. He
He says,
says
"I
something.
hope."
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope they're gonna bring something up at the meeting.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious! Well, that was pretty fun. I'm pretty sure they will, don't you think?
Yeah. I think it's due. It's time for that to happen.
Now,
Yeah.
between now and then, the appeal though should come through on the Delaware deal.
Okay.
So I think they said that the appeal would. They gave a kind of an estimate of how long the appeals have taken in the past. I want to say we maybe be seeing that result in like August or September.
Hopefully. But I'm not. Those things can easily be delayed, many, many quarters or a year. So,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
um,
I was trying to think, was there anything else on the list, Brian, that you remember? I have my notes over here. I'm having technical difficulties though. Um, prototypes, end of the year, Optimus, phenomenal, one big bill. I think that was everything. Yeah, we managed to
yep.
do everything that I had on my list.
Great.
So we're down. While I'm over here, we're still down $16.
Hmm.
And so that's where we are as of the end of this program. As long as we're wrapping it up, we need to do the rest of the numbers real quick.
Hmm.
Okay, so we have got the bonds, which went back up today, but are down a little bit at least in the pre-market. So we're down 0.4 at 4.384, which is a lot under 4.5, but nowhere close to my 4.25, which is the bare minimum that I think is where we should be right now. Oil 65.45. Brian, I had it wasn't my idea. Do you remember the energy secretary's name?
No, I don't.
Okay, so he was on a show yesterday and he was saying, and we've talked about this before in general with regard to commodities. And he says, you can't look at the price of gas right now without taking into consideration inflation. He
Mhm.
says, if you put inflation on it, the price of gas is lower than it was before, pre-pandemic. And if you
Mhm.
look at the price of oil right now at 66, you take away 20% on that,
Mhm.
that's under 60.
Mhm. Right.
So anyway, the price of oil and the price of gas is really excellent when you take into consideration inflation.
Mhm.
Gold has perked up again. It's back up to, oh, I'm sorry, no, it's fall. Oh, ooh, it fell today. I didn't notice this. Okay, we're back down into the 33s, 33.96. So we
Mhm.
had gone up above 34 for a while there, but it has now fallen back to 33.96. I don't know any reason for that. Do you?
Would it in any way be related to the tariff deals or something like that?
Maybe, yes, less anxiety because the VIX
Mm,
dropped like crazy today. So yes,
right. I
yeah,
also think that the tariffs. So we have Japan, Indonesia, Philippines, and then EU seems on the verge of doing their deal. So after that, it's just the major places will be Canada and Mexico, and they're saying August 1st you're going back to the higher levels. So but they can continue to negotiate even after that happens. But it seems like any competent government would, if you're going to make the deal, just do it the next week. Like, it's like the nature of the deals are not, you know, going to be changing that much, like taking an extra few weeks because you can't, figure out what to ask for, it's like you've been talking for 2 months, like you just,
right.
you know, and the race I've shown that your best deal is now a reciprocal 15%. Yeah,
Right.
15% Japan is the best. 1919 was for Philippines and for Indonesia. And then EU is trying to get into that 15%. So basically, it looks like Trump and Bessent and them are telling them, if you want 15-15, 10-10 for UK is gone. 15-15 is basically this week. That from July 23rd to July 31st, that's when you get it. August 1st, maybe you get it, maybe you don't, and then it goes up probably to like 19 or 20,
Yeah.
right? So it's like if the message to me sounds very clear about like what you want. Like, do you want to be in the 15 group or do you want to
Yeah.
be in the 20 or the 30 group?
And how much you're
Um,
going to have to give up on the other side.
right. Yeah.
Silver, trying hard to go over $40 for the first time ever, 39.58. Copper, never going to come down again, I don't guess. Anyway, $5.85. Don't you wish you'd bought copper at 450?
Hmm.
It wasn't
Yeah.
that long ago. And we've got the Bitcoin down 839. So it's just kind of floating around that 117, 118 right now. So
Mhm.
seems to have settled in that range for at least for right this minute. And then the equities, the Dow down 0.27, S&P up 0.09, and the Nasdaq up 0.35.
Mhm.
So that's what we're looking at. Alphabet beat top and bottom,
Mhm.
and raises their spending forecast. No surprise there. So that's uh,
But the Alphabet, the Google stock didn't really move much in after hours. It's only like 1.67% up. So
yeah,
it's all relatively flat on these numbers. So it's yeah, interesting that we're not getting huge reactions on these things. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I asked Nick last night whether he thought the S&P was stretched or whether all of the equities were stretched, because we're sitting at I think over 22 times PE, 22 PE on the S&P, and
Mm.
we've had 25 record highs for the S&P
Mhm.
already this year.
Mm.
So there may be a little bit of a sense out there of how much farther can we go.
Okay.
All
We'll see
right.
what happens then. Yep.
All right. So if you didn't see my show earlier today, I did a show on the 5 big, huge, massive news blasts that happened earlier today that couldn't wait till tonight. I'm going to put the card up for that right there. And for tomorrow, everything's not normal. It'll be completely messed up tomorrow. We got Larry Goldberg, I think, tomorrow at this time. And it'll probably still be CERN Basher at night, though. So that part will be normal. Brian, as always. We should mention about the book real quick.
Mm.
I think we're almost there. I think we've got about 80 people signed up to read the book. We're looking for 100. So if you want to do that, this is a great time to do it. Look, Randy Kirk 77 at Gmail. Send me a quick note. Say, yeah, I'd like to be a reader. And we can go over 100. It doesn't matter, but that's just kind of our goal. Once I get to 100, I'm going to start asking. I'm going to stop asking. So
Okay.
that's
Sounds
all.
good.
That's all I got, Brian. That's all there is.
Okay.
It's been great talking to you.
Bye.